Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Giri Radha Gopi Janavallabha Giri Radha Yamuna Tira Haran Yamuna Tira Haran Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Canto 1, Chapter 7, the son of Jonah punished. This is verse 46. Dharmagya Mahabhagaha Tadharmagya Mahabhagaha Bhavabhir Gauravam Mukulam Bhavabhir Gauravam Kulam Vrijinam Narhati Praptum Vrijinam Narhati Pratum Pujavanyam Abhikshnasnaha Pujavaryam Abhiksnasaha Dharma Dharmagya Mahabhagaha Bhavadbir Gauravam Kulam Rajinam Narhati Praptum Pujavadam Abhiksnasaha.
Dharmagya Mahabhaga
Ladies. Anyone else? Therefore, Dharmagya, one who is aware of the principles of religion. Mahabhaga, the most fortunate. Bhavadbir, Bhavabhi, by your good self. Gauravam, glorified. Kulam, the family. Rijinam, that which is painful. Na, not. Arhati, does deserve. Pratum, for obtaining. Pujam, the worshipable. Vadyam, respectable. Abhiksnasaha, constantly. So, Draupadi, she's speaking. This is a very, you've been following the pastime along very nicely, everyone. It's quite a intricate and very dynamic pastime. So if you get the idea of what's going on here. O most fortunate one, one who knows the principles of religion, it is not good for you to cause grief to glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipful. Prabhupada's one-line purport. A slight insult for a respectable family is sufficient to invoke grief. Therefore, a cultured man should always be careful in dealing with worshipful family members. Magyan timirandasya gyanajana salakaya chaksu militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Staptitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya Desitarine Vanchakalpa Tirubhischa Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, just a little bit of a Leela overview. Asvatthama, son of Dronacharya, has acted in a very horrible and grievous, you might even say diabolical way. He has, five sons of Draupadi, each by one of the five Pandavas, were killed while they were sleeping. They were only boys of about 12 years old. Asvatthama did that because he had promised Duryodhana that I will kill the five Pandavas. But he didn't kill the five Pandavas, he killed the five sons of the Pandavas, innocent boys who were just sleeping. A very horrible, heinous act that is condemnable for everyone. Now what to do? He's ran away. He was captured by Arjuna and brought back for some punishment. Now he's there, he's under custody of Arjuna. Bhima's also there, Krishna's there, and Draupadi's there. So what to do with him? Draupadi has a different version of what everyone else is. Bhima said, kill him immediately. Don't even talk about it. There's no question of fair trial. He's guilty of the most heinous and horrible, abominable activity of killing 6 young boys for no reason. Therefore, he should be immediately killed. Everyone's listening. Arjuna has the same feeling, but he's not sure. Draupadi speaks up now. She's a mother. She has just lost 5 sons. Her heart is very touched and very much aggrieved from the loss of her sons. But still, she's thinking that if we kill Asvatthama, whose mother is Kripa, whose father is Dronacharya, who's a respectable Brahmana, not only respectable, one of the best of all Brahmanas, then Kripi would also cry like me. She's feeling empathy, sorrow that may happen to Kripi if Asvatthama is killed. Now she's saying, O most fortunate one, who knows the principles of Lidas, it is not good for you to cause grief to glorious family members who are worshipful, who are family members who are always respectable and worshipful. So she's talking to, I think, she couldn't tolerate seeing him being bound up by ropes. She's saying he's a Brahmin. But he's no longer a Brahmin because he's acting against Brahminical principles. He's Brahma Bandhu, he's a fallen Brahmin, you might say. And now, Prabhupada said, it's interesting, Prabhupada doesn't mention, but he does in other purports. He says to could create an insult to a respectable family is a cause of grief. So we shouldn't kill them because their family is respectable. But then the question is that respect still there? Is it lost because of his horrible activities? So this is interesting. You have Krishna there, you have Arjuna, you have Bhima, you have Draupadi, then Ashvatthama. And there appears to be some indecision, or maybe even slight disagreement on how to deal with Ashvatthama. This is interesting because all of these persons are respectable. They're all great personalities, especially Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his pure devotee. Arjuna, Bhima, the great warrior, also men of the glorious Pandavas. And Draupadi, who is the mother. And they disagree.
There's one more person. Yudhishthira Maharaj.
Yudhishthira was there also?
Yes.
Okay.
All family.
Okay, Yudhishthira also joined in, and he is considered to be religion personified. He is noted as Dharmaraj. He's actually the son of Dharmaraj. He's also known as Dharmaraj. So now, what to do with him? So you see, this might be somewhat instructive that even great souls disagree. Hare Krishna. I think Maharaj can talk about that being a member of GBC. There are many great souls there, practically all. So yeah, this happens because when you look at a situation, you can look at it from different angles of vision. And depending on the eyes of vision, you make your understanding, your evaluation, and ultimately you make your, judgment. So here, Draupadi's looking at it from a point of view of a mother. Krishna, he'll jump in later and give his point, but he won't say what he wants, but he indicates what he wants. And he indicates it to Arjuna, who gets the indication and then acts accordingly. So it's interesting how great personalities, even Yudhishthira, who is, flawless in his character, he's so flawless that he even honors Dharma over the source of Dharma, which is Krishna. He's the source of Dharma. He's so adhering to the principle of Dharma that when the source of Dharma tells him to do something adharma, he doesn't do it. And sometimes he's criticized for that, but he's also glorified for that. It's interesting. Krishna told him, you lie to tell Dronacharya that Ashvatthama was killed, to destroy Dronacharya's, spirit. Knowing his son would be killed, he would lose his spirit. He would be lamenting, unhappy. And that wasn't true. But Krishna did that so that Dronacharya would be defeated. So Krishna was cheating. Hare Krishna. He said, of the cheats, I'm the best of all cheaters. He cheats you out of your material life. Hare Krishna. He says, come to Hare Krishna and you'll be happy and you'll get everything you need, whatever you want. And he's telling the absolute truth from the highest principle of what we say, interest of the best for the soul. But he's not telling you what you have to do to get that. That you learn in due course of time. And then you say, oh my God, Krishna, what are you doing? I thought it was easier than what you're making it. And then gradually. And then you start realizing, hey, maybe he's right. It's not so hard to give up all of this entanglement in this material world. So Krishna's like that. He's giving the best interest, even though he doesn't tell you all of what will happen in the future. But that's okay, that's part of the program, to keep you directed towards what is important. and not looking back to what is not has any relevance to your actual happiness. So here, Prabhupada's purport. A slight, Prabhupada doesn't say insult, a slight insult for a respectable family is sufficient to invoke grief. So what does it mean to be respectable? How would that be defined in a broader term in this? Dronacharya, he's a Brahmana. Brahmanas are considered to be, just by title, respectable. Even if they are fallen from that position, still it says that one should honor a Brahmin. Just because he is a Brahmin, what is that honor? You may not glorify him for his activities, but because of the position he holds as a Brahmin. Brahman is considered the best. If you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 5th canto, 5th chapter, Rishabdev lists all of the different levels of living entities, starting from the trees, the rocks, and he goes higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, all the way up to the Devas, and then all the way up to Brahma and Shiva. But he says the best is the Brahmins. They're higher than everybody. That's coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because the Brahmins are actually, they're the expansions of the Lord's mood for giving guidance, religious guidance for the society. But we're talking about that Brahmin, excuse me, that is engaged in Brahminical activities, which is devotional service, of course. So not simply becoming a Brahmin. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati challenged those who were Brahmanas who thought that simply by being born in a Brahmin family makes you a Brahmin automatically. But he showed by Shastric evidence that it is not by janma, it's by karma, or by activity. So that same thing also applies in all aspects of life. You're seen not so much by your position, but of course people mistakenly think that way, but you're seen by your activities. Prabhupada talks a lot about that, about you may be in a particular position, but your activities indicate your actual worth or your character. And what is your activities? Of course, beneficial for everyone. One who works for the benefit of others, even from the material perspective, is considered to be respectable. Jai Sisi Panchatattva Ki Jai. So, therefore, it is not by position, it is by activity. It is by character, which brings about the proper activity. So sometimes we think, oh, I have a particular position, but that's a way just to serve. Whatever position we are is an opportunity to serve in that position. It doesn't indicate who you are. Jiver Surupai Krishna Nityadas. We are who we are. We are only one identity. We are eternal servants of Krishna. And we may serve in different capacities. And that service is an opportunity to push forward religious principles, to do benefit to others, and to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is not about trying to get some position in order to get some, what we say, perks or benefit from that position. Position has to indicate the mood of service according to the position that is being given. In other words, people serve, but they serve according to a position. A spiritual master will serve by serving his disciples, who he sees as his spiritual master's representative, to guide them towards Krishna in devotional service. A temple president will serve as a means to organize the activities of the temple so all of the devotees can work nicely and be engaged happily in devotional service, and make sure that he has a vision for where that project is going. So everyone has their service within the category of position. Knowing your position, but not knowing your service is an anomaly, or you might say a dichotomy. We have to know who we are and what is our position, along with how we have to serve in that position. Because this position alone is not simply. So, Draupadi's looking at position. He's a Brahmin. But Bhima says, he's a killer. He's a killer for no reason. He actually killed, a Kshatriya will never kill someone who is unarmed. That is completely abominable and against all Kshatriya principles. In fact, Prabhupada says if a Kshatriya is fighting and his opponent drops his weapon, he will wait till that opponent picks up his weapon, and then the fight is always fair or equal. That's the Kshatriya. That is actually Kshatriya Dharma. They fight equally. And you see, during the Battle of Kurukshetra, they would fight during the day, the Kauravas and the Pandavas, and then at night they would sit together and discuss. They were in a friendly mood talking. They're family members, of course. And then the next day, they were enemies. Because they put their service foremost. This is my service. Krishna had to instruct Arjuna. Arjuna was looking at things from a wrong point of view when he initially saw on the other side were all his family members who were by his evaluation worshipable. Because he saw that, he gave so many reasons why he shouldn't fight. He's a Kshatriya. His duty is to fight on behalf of religious principles. The standard of religious principles is standing right next to him, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He comes up with reasons why he shouldn't fight. And the reasons, as Prabhupada mentions, and towards the end of the first chapter, are very nice reasons, but they don't fit. They're nice, but they don't fit the situation. The situation is they're, what is it called? Asvagya. What is the word for aggressor? What is the Sanskrit word for aggressor? Asvatayani. Asvatayani, yeah. Prabhupada talks about they were aggressors. Therefore, they were meant to be, what we say, defeated. And Krishna had made that arrangement. Arjuna was his instrument. Arjuna was the perfect instrument. He failed to do his service. He gave other reasons. Well, if the men are killed, the women are unprotected, then women underprotected, what will happen? Society will fall into Varna Samskara, will have unwanted population. How can we actually kill those who are respectable, who are our dear relatives? I mean, what was it? Not Yudhisthira, but what was it? Dhritarashtra. He took care of the Pandavas when they were young. And now he's against the Pandavas. But they remembered how the Kauravas were actually taking care of them in many ways as they were growing up as kids. But Krishna threw all that out and said, you gotta fight. Why? Because they are offenders. And ultimately, they are not suited to rule the kingdom. Only you, my devotees, are suited. What do you call it? Vaishnava Dharma, or Dharma that is based on transcendental principles and not on material, greedy positions for acquiring some kind of control. So there's another example where the position is there, but the activities fall short. So Krishna straightens that one out also. So it's interesting. Here, Draupadi, she's seeing his position, and but she is also feeling that if Creepy has to go through what I'm going through, it's going to be even more painful for me, knowing that she will suffer like that. That is called feeling for the suffering of others. Prabhupada talks about that. It's a very, very lofty quality of a Vaishnava, to feel for the sufferings of others. People are suffering. So how do we rectify, how do we enunciate that principle? Preach. Or make an effort to reach out to people, to give them an opportunity to get free from their suffering, knowing that the only way they can do that is ultimately to come to Krishna consciousness or devotional service. So feeling for the suffering of other means to somehow or other arrange for those fallen souls to get the mercy of Krishna. And if they receive the mercy of Krishna, the mercy of Krishna they're getting now is killing them because it's due to their sinful activities, therefore they're getting a reaction and suffering because of that. So feeling for the suffering of others and also rejoicing for the happiness of others. This is somewhat controversial. That if you see a materialistic person apparently happy, do you feel happy because of their happiness? No? We know that happiness is not really happiness. That's the problem. It looks like happiness, but Prabhupada explains what is happiness in the material world. A relief from suffering. If you evaluate all the forms of happiness, you'll see that it's connected with some relief from some anxiety, some suffering, some difficulty. It all comes back to that same principle. So happiness in the material world is a misnomer. It's simply an idea. It's a planned idea. It's the major plan for everyone. But it doesn't go beyond a certain level, because no one can actually be happy, as Krishna says, Yehi samsarsasa bhoga, dukkha yoniya evate, avantavanta kunteya, tateshu ramate buddha. Happiness or misery comes by contacting with the senses, with the sense objects. It's the cause of misery. It's not the cause of happiness. But therefore, people are thinking in the wrong way. That if I connect my senses with these objects which will give pleasure to me, my mind, my senses, myself, my body, my intelligence, then I'll be happy. I'll be happy. And they try it. They get some relief from suffering, which they call happiness. That's all. But devotees can see that. Devotees know what is real happiness. What is real happiness? We have so many things that make us happy, right? Chanting Hare Krishna. What else do we do? Taking prasadam. Some people choose between the two. Which one's better? The thing is, they go together. Don't separate them. And what else? We discussed philosophical teachings that are way beyond anything that we hear of the material world. This knowledge is a Paurusha. It's coming from the Supreme Lord Himself into the hearts of the great souls who have realized it by their own power of devotional service. So it's transcendental knowledge. It's above the three modes of material nature, and it always brings success and ultimate happiness. So devotees are always happy, right? Yeah, am I right? Everybody's happy?
As long as they're devotees.
Huh?
As long as they're devotees.
Oh, that's all I see. Is there anybody here who's not a devotee?
As long as we're engaged in devotional service.
Okay, if you're not engaged in devotional service, we have a lot of service. In fact, there are some who would like to share some of their service with you, because they have too much. But anyway, that's the devotional, activity. Maharaj makes the point we're making, that it's the activity that indicates the actual identity and position. So it's back to that. Okay, so continue with this pastime. It is really, really, really quite dynamic, and you'll see how Krishna solves the whole problem without really saying anything. Any questions or comments on anything? Yes.
So, thank you very much. To just draw the line and answer the question you posed at the beginning, what does it actually mean to be respectful?
What does it mean to be respectable? To see Krishna...
Not respectable, but respectful.
Respectful? Oh, not to show respect, but to be a respectable person?
To show respect.
Show respect? What is that verse? Vinyaya vidni sampane kavihavi hastini suni chaiva sapake cha pandita samadarshana. This is one is called samadarshan. Samadarshan means equal vision. To see within the hearts of all living entity that there are two souls, Krishna and the individual soul who is inhabiting that body. Therefore, everyone is respectable in the sense that Krishna is in the heart. So actually, when we give respects to others, we're actually giving respect both to the individual and mostly to Krishna in the heart of that. So Prabhupada would say, I live in this world, or I go on in this world somehow because I give respects to everyone. That's Bhakti Vinod Thakur, I'm sorry. Bhakti Vinod Thakur says that. That somehow I live in this world, so I show respects to everyone. So devotees, they see that everyone, at least from that position, is respectable. And what is that principle? The three principles of knowledge. One principle is, what's the first one? To see all women as one's mother. Ah, yeah. A pandita, that means one who actually knows, pandita. So what is one who's a pandita doesn't do these things. What is that? To see all women as mother, except one's wife. To see everyone's possessions as garbage in the street, that means you don't touch it. Even if it's not being taken care of, it's not yours. Just don't consider it something that you can gain from. And the last one is, Prabhupada would say, I pinch you and you pinch me. I don't like to be pinched because I know it's painful, therefore I shouldn't pinch you also. So feeling what do unto others as you would have others do unto you. That's the Christian statement. In other words, treat other ones how you would like to be treated yourself. So that's the way, that is actually the principle of respect.
Thank you very much.
Does that help a little?
Wonderful. It helps a lot.
Thank you. Good question also. Anyone else, Maharaj?
It's interesting that we could see that although Krishna knows everything and he's in control of everything, still he acts in this particular pastime especially, just fulfilling it, giving everyone the intelligence according to their desire. And he himself doesn't take any predominant position in this activity, except for fulfilling the desires of his devotees.
Yeah, Savasijaham Riddhi Sanipisto. I'm seated in everyone's heart. I give knowledge when you want it. I give forgetfulness if you want that also. And also, I help you to remember. So Krishna is actually the principle of all activity and the success of all activity also. So Maharaj is making a really important point, because this point is that whatever we do, ultimately we have to understand behind that activity is the hand of the Supreme Lord. And how much we surrender to the Lord, that's how successful that activity becomes. In other words, to depend on the Lord, to give credit to the Lord, to pray to the Lord. These things help the devotee to understand that, what can I do? All I can do is pray or somehow depend on the mercy of the Lord. And Prabhupada makes that point. If you do that, you'll never be overcome or unsuccessful, and you'll never be thwarted in your execution of devotional service. So the karmis, they depend, or they actually think that it's by their endeavors that things happen or don't. And they also say their ability is what makes things successful. Their lack of ability causes things not to become... They give so many, what we say, mundane reasons why things happen or don't happen, why their plans are fulfilled or not. It's all based on them. Or if something goes wrong, they blame somebody else. Devotees don't do that either. Even if someone apparently causes you some difficulty, or it's not that person. This person is just an instrument for what you deserve, actually. Hare Krishna. Don't blame anybody. Because you're blaming otherwise. They say when you, what is it? There's a little, little anecdote where if you point a finger at others, there's two fingers pointing back at you. So, yeah. So we take responsibility to whatever happens to us, seeing it either as Krishna's arrangement for our purification or advancement, or simply a reaction to our wrong activities, which is also a lesson to learn. Okay, so, yeah. Where was that question coming from again? Was it a question? Oh, that was Maharaj. Oh, yeah. Anything else? Any comments? Other questions? Here's your chance. Don't leave the class and say, oh, I should ask that question.
Can you also elaborate, as you started before, on how to be respectable? Like, because when he said the question, yes, like how to be respectful, but you started...
Well, there's common parlance, where you mean there's basic activities. You see people, give respect to others in so many different ways. Just being friendly to others, acknowledging another person's presence and their importance. These are also ways to show respect. There's so many ways to show respect. When you're with an assembly of others, and you may just give you an example. A disciple is there, a guru is there. Someone asks the guru a question, and the guru can't think of the answer, but the disciple knows the answer. So, will the disciple speak up? If he does, he's a rascal. He's impudent. Even though the guru may not, even if the guru gives the wrong answer, he won't correct his spiritual master. That's an aparad. It's a breach of etiquette, like that. So certain things are there also. So that's a way to show respect, even if the situation presents itself differently. Well, Guru, give me a chance. I know the answer. And then it's rascal. Anything you want to say something about that one, Mars? No? Okay, thank you. Prabhupada gives a lecture in Kali Yuga. Disciples not only correct their guru, but they tell them what to do. Hare Krishna. So be careful, because it'll damage your devotional life. If there is some correction that is required, that is warranted, that is understood to be needed, it shouldn't come from the disciple. It should come from someone who is on the same position of the spiritual master, or someone who has that service, not the disciple. Anyway, it's a little lesson to learn, because devotees can fall down from doing that simply by acting like that. So just to protect your own bhakti. You may disagree, but in a respectable manner, with an inquisitive mind to find out what is the understanding. That you can do. Huh?
Patak Maharaj gives the example of Prabhupada talking to his senior, which was Bhaktivinoda Thakur's brother. And he said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur asked a question, because he said, would it be sinful if Bhaktivinoda Thakur's books are not actually made available to the whole world? He's actually trying to get the books of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So he said, wouldn't it be sinful if someone didn't allow these books to be public? So Prabhupada kept on asking questions. So afterwards Prabhupada said, well, it wasn't really violating etiquette, because I didn't tell him I was asking him a question.
From that point of view, it's not, it was questionable, not like a statement of, authority or opinion. So you can do that. Especially, for instance, if you get a service and two things may appear. This service is too difficult for me, or this service is, I'm not exactly sure how to execute it. So then you can approach the spiritual master in both cases and say, this service is very difficult. Can you give me another service? Or if you can't give me another service, please help me understand how to do this service. So that would be proper behavior. And that shows the good quality of a disciple. Not like, guru's off again. And he's going to give me some service that I can't handle. But there's one principle, I don't want to take too long, but there's one principle that the spiritual master is required to test the disciple. That's a principle for guru. He has to give a test to his disciple just to see, or to give that disciple a chance to make advancement based on that. I'll give you an example. One lady, she told me this personally, she was single and she been practicing under her spiritual master. She was aspiring, and then she wanted for initiation. She was ready for initiation. He said, before you get initiation, you have to live in the ashram, the ladies' ashram, for 1 year. He said, after that, then you're qualified. She didn't want to do it, but it was the instruction. She did it. Later she told me it was the best thing she ever did. Because she accepted it, even though it appeared to be difficult. Because the instructions of the spiritual master are actually the benefit that the devotees can gain, even though it may be difficult. Or sometimes it may even be impossible. Like Prabhupada sent people to preach in different places around the world. And they encountered so many obstacles, and sometimes it became almost impossible, especially when they tried to open up the London Yatra. That was difficult. And Prabhupada said, this is what we need to do. He sent one young man to Germany by himself, in Shivananda. And he, with a pair of kartals, he just sat down in some places in the open and started chanting. And gradually people came by. And soon there were more and more people, and then gradually a group of devotees started to form. So sometimes the spiritual master, not sometimes, will test you, but consider that an opportunity for advancement and not something to give you a hard time. It's not like that. Okay, so we can stop here. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Ale